Hello students, today we want to talk about biology of heredity. That is, we are looking into genetics. So please, when you come across where I wrote some things and I rewrite it with a text, it means I'm writing the correct thing on the board. So let's begin. When you're talking about genetics, it's talking about that thing in you. It's talking about your gene. It's talking about your genetic makeup. You can see there, I wrote define instead of defined. So genetics is defined as the scientific study of heredity. That is what you inherit from your parents, from parents to child, which is also known as progeny. And variation, differences. What makes you different from one another in living things? Now, I want to talk about what heredity is. Heredity has to do with inheritance. Inherit what you inherit. It is defined as the transmission. When they transmit and you now expression of characters. So characters, yes, is not how you behave. Character here is talking about what you inherit that we see in you. So we call it character or traits in organisms from parent offsprings. So when you're talking about variation is defined as the morphological and physiological. When you're talking about variation is continuous, while physiological variation is continuous. So hereditary variation, something that we can see. Differences which occurs within a species, which could be hereditary or acquired from the environment. So as we progress, we are going to be looking at different transmittable characters in human beings. Are we together? So now let's look at something here. You can see I've defined it on the board. So when any inheritance is passed from parents to offspring is known as progeny. 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 All transmittable characters in human beings. You can inherit your body stature. Probably mommy is fat. You can also be fat. You can inherit the shape of your dad. Maybe your dad is a slim person. You can also be slim. You can inherit the shape of the head, the shape of the nose, the shape of the ear. Likewise, you can inherit skin color. Your mom might be fair in color and you might also be fair in color. Your dad might be dark in color. You might also be dark in color. So you can inherit color. Are we communicating? You can inherit tongue rolling, baldness, sickle cell anemia. You can inherit it. Let me tell you a story about genetics. So we have a man we call the father of genetics. He is known as Gregor Mendel. He was born around 1822 to 1884. So he was the one that started the experiments on pea plants known as Pisum sativum. He was the one that started the experiments. He was experimenting the plants, making use of tall plants to cross with short plants. So when they gave birth, he discovered that all of them were not tall. Some were tall, some were short. He now said what was responsible for this thing. Then he started the practical. So it was during the practical process he realized there were some things that led to this inheritance, which was known as gene. And that the genes are located in the chromosomes. The chromosome is a thread-like structure that contains the DNA and it stores genetic traits. Are we together? Now, the chromosome is located in the nucleus. And as we all know, the nucleus controls all life activities of the cell. The nucleus it stores hereditary information as it contains DNA and chromosomes because the DNA is inside the chromosomes and they take part in cell division. So the diagrammatic expression here explains what is called cell division. You as a person, you have 46 number of chromosomes. That is 23 pairs of chromosomes in you, because chromosomes are in pairs. Do you understand? And the life starts with the sperm cell and the egg cell coming together, fertilization taking place, which leads to the zygote. Then we have the offspring. Now, imagine the father has 23 pairs of chromosomes, which is represented as the 2n. That is, the n is representing 23. So 23 times 2 will give you 46 pairs of chromosome. The mother has the same number of chromosomes. Now, when it is time for them to have sexual intercourse, the male sperm and the female egg cell coming together, there is what we call cell division. Cell division takes place, which leads to the haploid number of the chromosomes. That is, we are going to be having 23 from the sperm, 23 from the egg cell, which will form the zygote. That is 23 plus 23, that's 46. That's 2n. That is 2 open brackets 23, then close brackets. That's 46. So the offspring will also have 46, not 92. Chromosomes. You can see I said chromosome is a thread-like structure, so I'm trying to draw something there, making it look like, okay, these are our chromosome, which is a thread-like structure. It's meant to cross path, actually. It's a sketch. So on that chromosome, it is your gene. Your gene is located on the chromosome. The chromosome is the one that is housing the gene. The gene is the one that stores that genetic information that has the DNA. Am I communicating? Like, are we together? So that chromosome is now located in the nucleus. Now, we are looking at gametes. What is gametes? Gametes are sex cells. They are what? Sex cells. So, we have the plants and animals. Animals, they have gametes. Plants also have gametes. In animals, we have their own in gametes. That's in plant first. In plants, they also have their gametes, that is, their male sex cell and their female sex cell. In male sex cell, they are known as pollen grains. While the female sex cell, they are known as the ovule. Ovule in plants. Whereas in animals, their male sex cell, they are known as the spermatozoon. While the female sex cell is known as ovum, ovum, or egg cell. These are terminologies used in genetics. Now we want to look at what genotype is. Genotype is the sum total of your genetic makeup, genetic constitution, what is in you that makes up an organism, the genes that can be inherited from both parents. You can inherit from your father or inherit from your mother. That is the genotype. That is the genetic makeup of an organism. It is under this particular topic, when we get to the genotype, that is where you'll be seeing what we call homologous, heterozygous. We have the recessive and the dominant genes. So, for example, the recessive, the short T, the dominant, capital T. So when we get to the crossing level, we are going to be explaining what all these they are all about. So now let's move. We want to do a crossing, the first filial generation. Please watch this video to the end so you can see how this is properly done. So we have the capital T, then multiplied by the small t. So the capital T is representing the parents. At parent level, They are coming together. Now, when there is fertilization, we have what they call the gametes. They are going to what? Separate and go and cross with one another. Now, in the first filial generation, physically, all the offsprings are tall. But when you look at it very well, it is not homozygous tall. It is heterozygous. Homozygous means the same. Heterozygous means different. Heterozygous tall, that is what they have. So, their phenotype, they are all tall. But their genotype, they are all heterozygous tall. Because it has a capital T and a small t. And because the capital T is dominant, while the small t is recessive. So it means they will all be tall. Fine, they are all tall in the physical, but in the genotype, they have the gene of shortness in them. Are we communicating? So we now want to take this first filial generation to have another crossing in order to let us see what their offsprings will look like. Can you say the capital T is dominant while the small t is recessive? So in order to be an expert in this particular topic, you have to also practice it yourself. I must be sincere with you. So the first filial generation, we are taking them. You remember all the offsprings, they are heterozygous tall. So we have picked it. Heterozygous tall. Capital T small t crossing with the capital T small t. So we are now having the crossing right now. You can see I'm taking the capital T to the other capital T, then the capital T to the short t, then the short t to the capital T, then the short t to the small t. Now look at something there. I am going to make a correction. So you would have thought that short t should have gone with the capital T, but that is going to be incorrect. So it is going to be capital T over the short t. So that is why we called that a dominant, while that one is recessive. So now looking at the genotypic ratio of this is going to be 1:2:1. I have it on the board. Capital T, we have 1. Heterozygous tall, we have 2. Homozygous short, we have 1. So I'm interpreting it already. Capital T, that is a homozygous tall. Homo, the same. Do you understand? We have capital T short t, heterozygous tall, that is they are different. Then small t, that is the same, homozygous short. Now I want to look at the phenotypic ratio, that is the physical. What you can see, genotype is within your genetic makeup. You understand that, okay, within you have tallness trait, you have tall and short, you have short in you. So the phenotypic ratio now is talking about physical, what we can see, that we can say, okay, this is what we have seen. In this particular thing, we saw that we have tall offsprings and one short. TT, capital T. We have, as far as the dominant is over the recessive, they are all tall. Now I'm showing you the right way to make your crossing. The parents, you've seen it. Then gametes level, they separated. Have you seen it? So we are trying to cross it in order to have our offspring. So I showed you how to cross it very well here. And I believe you can also do the same thing yourself. It's very, very super easy. So please, the best way you can do this is to always practice what you have been taught here. Always, you see, you can't do it that way because recessive can never be over dominant. So dominant will be over recessive. So you should always practice everything you have been taught here. Remember to comment, remember to subscribe on this channel so you can always get a very good one. Part 2 of this is loading as we are not sure.